Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, I want to remind you that you are still on the oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair. Over to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Batchily.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
You are welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Council, we may proceed.
Yes, Mr. Batchily, we had the mayors who testified uh, regarding the administration of Banjul City Council. When did you start working with the mayors?
We started working in 2018.
2018.
Yes.
And for how many years have you worked with the mayors?
Up to 2024 February.
You had opportunity to listen to the testimony of the mayors?
Yes, I was.
She mentioned that for Banjul City Council, that the CEO and the finance director are the most powerful, that they cannot be controlled. Whatever they want to do, if they don't want the administration to know, there's no way they will know. Have you heard that?
Yes.
What is your reaction to that?
I would not agree to that.
Why will you not agree to that?
Because everything that we used to do at the council, she was part of it, or she knew what we were doing.
Can you please repeat that?
I said everything that we used to do at the council, I would disagree. If she comes here and says that she was not part of it or she did not know anything about it, I would disagree vehemently.
Why will you disagree?
I would disagree because starting with meetings.
Meetings.
Of course, the management meeting normally doesn't comprise of the mayor.
Yeah.
It's mostly the CEO and the members of senior staff.
Yes.
Yeah, but then the thing is, all our minutes for the management and also all the committee meetings, including the contracts committee meeting, the minutes, were all given to her, to her office.
All these minutes are always forwarded to her, to her.
They are always copied to her. And also when we have, like we used to have morning briefings every time, myself, herself, and the senior management, we normally used to have meetings, briefings in our office. So it really came to me as a surprise that we're just maybe running the council without them knowing, because if not anything, she's representing the council. So you can see that most of these meetings, we had to bring her on board by virtue of being the head of the council.
Yes. And so that is why you categorically deny or refuse to accept her statement
Yeah,
that she is not aware of so many things.
yeah.
And what is the level of involvement of the mayors in? I know you have said the daily briefings. I know you have said the meetings that you have, the minutes of meetings you reported to her office, and then can you, Mr. Batchily, as CEO of Banjul City Council, can you do anything you want in Banjul City Council without Roy Malik Law knowing?
Well, it would depend on in which
Can you do
instances.
anything you want? Do you have absolute control of the area council? You as CEO, total control, absolute control, so much so that whatever you want is what happens. Is that how it is run? Because that is how she portrays it.
No, that is not the way I used to run my administration.
That's not how it works.
That is not the way I used to run my administration.
All right.
I think even the senior staff members who form the management committee would agree to me. I'm very consultative. very consultative. In fact, like I say, they could attest to the fact that whenever things happen, I always want to try and have a consensus.
If the mayoress does not agree for you to make a payment, will you still go ahead and pay?
It will depend on what kind. If it's a payment that has to be done with or without her saying yes,
Yes.
it will be done.
So there's a threshold, of course, you know about this,
Yes,
in the financial manual
yes,
that gives you a certain limit as to what you can authorize.
yes,
And the mayor will have a certain limit as to what she can authorize.
yes,
And the council will have the ultimate if it passes above the mayor's limitations. We know at council you did not pass a resolution of that sort, but on a daily basis, as a matter of practice, do you have a limit that you can authorize above which she has to be aware, or is she aware of every major payment?
I can say clearly that she used to be aware of all the major payments that were done. Because, like I said, we always used to have consultative meetings in the morning. So all issues that require, payments, especially payments of bigger magnitudes, she's always informed.
I had told you when we met the last time here that I had accused you of being a robber stamp. You recall that?
Yeah,
Doing almost everything that the mayors want. You recall it?
yeah,
The mayor sat here and her testimony was such that, in fact, it appears as if she is the one who is maybe the victim. That it is the opposite side. You are the ones who will do whatever you want. And for her, she just have to be advised by the CEO, but apparently has no say in practice. I made reference to the law of the powers of the mayors and the power of the mayor in administration. He still says that what obtains in Banjo is that the CEO has the ultimate power. You are the be all and the end all, you're the overall boss. In fact, more powerful than the council, more powerful than the mayors. Mr. Bachel, are you that powerful?
I am certainly that powerful. Certainly. Like I just explained. But first of all, let me make it clear. With regards to the issue of threshold,
Yes.
we did not operate along those lines.
Yes.
I think I have to be very specific about that. But then secondly, I'm coming back to this issue of things were being done without her knowledge. I am continuously denying that that was the case. Like I said, the senior management members are there. The purpose of could have just, for example, sat in my office and said that, okay, as the head of the administration, I don't have to go to her office every time in the morning to give briefings. But like I say, that is not my modus operandi in terms of, like the way I run things. I inform my senior management members about all pending things,
When
including herself.
when you decided, no, let me say, the decision to remove Mr. Kamara um, from the Austin project signatory, was that this your decision entirely?
It was not my, well, the fact that, like I said, I had taken it to the senior management meeting call and we discussed about it
Was the
because,
mayor aware of this?
of course,
She says she's not aware.
well, the minutes, literature is there to prove because that's very day. If I could recall, I did not have the privilege of informing you wholly and solely on that process. But that same day, we had also decided that for the mainstream BCC accounts, we decided to also bring on board the acting director of admin, and then all these matters, like were, like to her knowledge.
So why would she say that she wasn't aware of this? Do you have the minutes?
I have all those documentation.
Will you be able to provide us with these minutes of meeting?
Very well.
Very well. Please write it down. He will need minutes of this meeting.
Mm. Lead counsel. Um, um, Mr. Batchily,
Yes, ma'am.
in line with what lead counsel is asking you, um, I want to refer you to the
What you have?
Local Government Act under the governance and administrative structures of the council. Do you agree with me that there is overstaffing during your time, and that there were unproductive departments, which suggests inefficiencies in adherence of the Act's principles of effective service delivery? Is
Yes.
that so?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it correct?
I will agree with you that there was overstaffing.
Is it correct? First
No,
answer.
no, it's not correct.
The statement is not correct.
No.
What I'm saying, under the governance and administrative structure,
Yeah.
do you agree that there was overstaffing? One,
Yes.
there were inefficient um, uh, departments that suggested inefficiencies in the service delivery.
Okay, I think I've answered the first one. When I
Yes,
said
there are two
yes,
questions. Yes, there are two. One.
there indeed
Yes.
was overstaffing.
Overstaffing, yes.
And
Was there overstaffing?
yeah, there was overstaffing.
Okay, the second question.
And I
is-
would
Yes,
also agree that, the overstaffing
yes.
led to some inefficiencies. But I would not say it
No,
was,
I am saying the overstaffing, what I'm saying is that there were departments,
yeah,
there were unproductive departments.
yeah.
Is that correct?
I would,
There were departments that were not productive. A case in point is the audit department.
yes,
Is that correct? Is that a fair statement to make?
yes, that's a fair statement.
Yes. So that has led
Yeah,
to unsatisfactory service delivery. Is that correct?
yeah, I totally agree.
Yes.
Based on,
So if we look at the governance structure, you go to, I have already given you the example of the audit
yes,
issue. Now, when it comes to staff appointments and disciplinary matters, there were serious lapses in that. Is that also correct? Which you did not handle properly. Is that also correct? Is that a fair statement to make?
yes, it is a fair
All
statement.
right. Okay.
But
Then when you come to, yes?
I just wanted to make it clear.
Yes. Okay. You can go ahead.
Yeah, because you see, the thing is, before 2019,
Yes.
council was responsible for all the employments.
Yeah. What?
Council was responsible
Yeah.
for all the employments and also things like disciplinary matters and the like. But then after 2019 March, then came the first local government service commission.
Yes.
We came to
But
pick up.
there was an aspect that is within your purview, correct?
I think that was a one to
1 to 5.
grade 1 to 5 or 1 to 3. I'm not too sure.
All
But
right.
then I just wanted to make clarity as to these two phases. 2019 upwards, the local government service commission became more instrumental.
All right. That is understood and noted.
Yeah.
So on the issue of um, council's land,
Pardon?
council's land,
Yeah.
land,
Yeah.
council's own.
Okay.
I believe that you have made a statement. You've made indications in your statement,
Yeah.
your witness statement, that based on your knowledge, council had 18 properties in Banjul, right? And my statement here is it fair to say that these properties were not effectively and efficiently handled, and there is no transparency in some of the allocations and the sale of some of this land? Is that a fair statement to make?
I want to make a clarity here too with regards to what you said. But because first of all the lands that they were leased actually. All these lands we're talking about, they were lands that were leased, and during the process, they were taken to the council, and then the council gave approval. We first started with 80 years, and eventually, when this afterwards, when the council came, the other new council, they started with 30 years. So yes, all these applications were taken to the council. The council,
Were they reviewed?
yes,
Saying that they were reviewed?
yes.
Once they were issued, the 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 clients that were issued 80 years lease were reviewed downwards to 30 years. Is that what you are saying?
No, no, no. What I'm just saying, like there are two separate zones. First of all, we did some allocations that were based on 80 years.
But is it true that
Yes.
in some of these allocations,
Yeah.
the transactions were not clear and you could not provide evidence to the effect of some of the sale transactions for some of the properties?
No, like I said, we handle no sale of properties. We handle only leased properties. These were leases.
Did you not mention in your statement that there is particularly, I'm referring to properties leased to Nando? Were there no discrepancies in the documentation and in the amounts paid?
Okay, for Nando,
I'm just giving you one of example.
do you want me to answer on this
Yes,
question?
yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Like for example, in that case, I could recall the initial agreement we had, or that we should have had, was with BY Consulting. They applied for the land behind the National Assembly. And then that one was also like taken to the council, and the council gave a blessing for us to have a lease agreement with them. But at some point, after having paid it was $2 million in fact, I recall, that he paid to the council. BY Consulting paid to the council. And then subsequently, I think after a week or so or two, or within that frame of time, we also had a letter from the same BY Consulting saying that he's having a power of attorney given to EMK stores. So we eventually had our lease agreement with EMK stores.
Council, you may proceed.
Yes, um, we have the the financial aspect of the council, and several payments were made to the office of the mayor. You know Fatou Benga?
Yeah, sure.
Who is Fatou Benga?
She was an assistant PRO
Okay.
of the council.
There were several payments made in her name for the mayors. Do you recall this?
Yes.
And for instance, there was a $50,000 payment before that. There is a $400,000 payment, cash allocation to the flood victims. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Why would this money be paid to the mayors? Is it because that's what you want, or she requested for it?
I don't think it's because of that's what we wanted. I think it was to do with the fact that she requested this money to work in tandem with some of these civil society organizations like the Red Cross to deal with the issue of like support.
She requested for the money
Yes, requested.
to work with um, the civil service organization.
Yeah, like the Red Cross.
Is that the usual way when it comes to the financial manual? Is that the usual way of um, authorizing payments as CEO? The answer is no. I mean, the manual is here.
Well,
And visit the manual.
I'm not having any problems with manual here. But what I wanted to say is that the first problem we had.
This brings us back, before you proceed, to the mayor saying, I do not know, I do not have a hand in it. It's all the CEO's decision.
No,
That's why I'm asking this question.
because
So now I'm asking the first, no, that's not my evidence, it's her evidence. She'll come back. The two of you will subsequently have time to sit down together. We know what we know, of course, but she has the right to give her evidence, right?
sure.
And we know, I know, let me speak for myself that that's not how it takes, anyways. But I can't speak for you, can I? I cannot do that. Now, we have spoken about the governance structure itself, vis-a-vis the day-to-day meetings, decision making, and so on and so forth. They've made it very clear that she's aware through the daily meetings, and she's aware through meetings, means of meetings being sent as well to her. The other issue is the issue of monies, financial obligations. We have the manual that says these are how payments should be done, and now we have payments made to the mayor in hundreds of thousands of dollars in hand for her to decide how to spend. Number one, I ask the question, is that the usual way? Is that a normal legal way?
Can I come in now?
Yes.
All right. Oh, I would agree with you in the sense that even ourselves, when we are releasing the money for these victims, okay, uh, at the council level, she explained the need for this to be done, and it was supported. But then, like when it came to the payment itself, I would agree with you that it could have been more, for example, more structured and organized. For example, like first having an assessment already done by the Red Cross, and then brought back to council, so that could form the basis of supporting whatever they are doing, because they are the ones who did the distributions. All what we did as the administration was to go with them to the council, to have it blessed, and then we had it prepared for them to take up this responsibility. Because we are not responsible for outreach programs as the administration. But like you say, I agree with you that maybe when this money was effected, when the payment was effected, it could have taken a different kind of direction.
Why in her name?
It was just a practice, to be honest.
It was a practice.
Yes, a practice. Because by the end of the day, I heard the two of you talking about the validity.
It says it's your advice.
No, like I'm
No,
not,
the mayor says that is your advice. That is what the CEO advised. Being the longest person, serving person in council at the time, CEO for so long, I did not know anything about how it works. Is Batchily who advised me that payments can be made in my name.
I, like I said, for example, the parents.
No one can speak for Batchily.
Parents cannot be done.
No one can speak for Batchily.
Yeah,
So
that's
some will question, but that is not true. Why do you not say that is not true? I cannot tell that to the mayor without you answering this first. That is her evidence. She's entitled to it. You understand?
yeah, but
No, no, hear me out. I understand
sorry.
the process of evidence gathering, Mr. Bachin. I am not saying that what she's saying is true. I'm saying that she's entitled to it. And you are also entitled to your own evidence. Now you are here. What she said, and if she comes, I will repeat it, the records are there, is that you are the one that advised that payments can be paid, made into her name, that she does not know. that you have been there for so long. That is a practice she found on the ground. And she relied heavily on you as the chief executive officer. And so Mr. Bacheli paid everything into the mayor's name, millions of dollars, because Mr. Bacheli advised him it is the right way to do it. Is that right?
I would say no.
Good. Why do you say no?
I would say no, because like I said initially before you came up with this your statement, like like I said, we as the administration, what we do is to facilitate things,
Yes.
for the council,
Yes.
because this like was mostly a council responsibility.
Yes.
Because victims involve people, like who are their electorates, the various wards. So
Yes.
it's like they came, made of a case at the council level that support should be given to these people, and then we agreed upon that. So that being the case, this has nothing to do with me advising who to do this or that, because by the end of the day, like I said, when it came to the issue of the disbursement,
Yes.
the ways and means of the disbursement,
Yes.
there is you that it should not have just taken that kind of direction.
I know you agree that is wrong, but were you instructed by the mayor to write a check in her name? In, of course, in Father Benga's name, because for her, of course, well, Father Benga will write the request to say, let me read to you an example is request for impress for support from Assistant Public Relations Officer to Chief Executive Officer. I write on behalf of the mayor. Every letter will read, I write on behalf of the mayor. And so when the money that is paid to her is for her to withdraw and give to the mayor. You understand? So you authorize this in her name because she demands that the payments be made in her name. Is that correct?
Can I react to that?
Yes.
Okay. If, for example, Fatumenga at her level, she's also a member of the council.
Who?
It's Fatumenga.
Yes.
She's a member of the administration.
Right.
All right. So if Fatumenga writes to me as the CEO and specifies that she was instructed,
Yes.
she's doing the request on behalf of the Lord Mayor,
Yes.
said, which means automatically now this has nothing to do with me giving advices as to whose name it should be. It should be written.
I agree.
Because that 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 request alone. For example, Fatuma had written to me, just giving a typical
Yes.
example that
Yes.
well, following the council meeting,
Yes.
that like authorize for the payment of these
Right.
amounts for the victims, then that could have taken another different kind of
I agree.
selection of arrangement. But if you write and tell me as a CEO that I write on behalf of the Lord Mayor, you understand? And when these checks were written, I have never written any check in her name.
Yes.
The checks were written in the names of those who were requesting it. Either in this case, Fatou Benga or ML Ba
Yes.
previously.
Yes.
So now, if that's the case, that the checks were written in her name, okay, maybe if I had known better, for example,
No, no. We have gone past that level that you have said that it is wrong.
yeah, okay,
But we just the idea that it was done as per the advice of the CEO. You are saying that's not correct because the letter is self-explanatory. It
exactly.
says I request on behalf of the mayor.
Or I'm directed.
So it's more like a directive
Yeah,
than an advice.
yeah,
Is that your evidence?
yeah. That's my evidence. And so I want to reiterate the fact that most of these requests, I have never written no check in her name.
Yes. No, we know that.
I've never.
We know that.
I write the checks in the names of those who make
Who request, whom she asked to write.
Exactly.
Now, the other issue is she says for all these payments made to either ML Bar or to Fatu
Yeah.
Mbenga, that for every request, she will call you, sit with you before she erases the request, before she instructs that a letter be written. That for every request that is sent, if it is for donation also, before she writes to you, before she will ask Fatu Mbenga to write to you, she would have already called you. You would have already sat down, and then that is her due diligence. The document did not suggest that. The document suggests that you are only written to, like you said, and then you pay into the person's name that is making the request. Now, that is what the Lord Mayor was trying to justify by saying that it's the CEO who advises me. Because before I write a letter, I call him to come and sit down, and then I ask, well, these people want donation. We were to do this. Is there money? And the CEO will advise me before I write, before there's a request. Do you advise the mayors in that format before requests are raised to you or not?
What I can say is that yes, in some cases that has happened.
In some cases.
In some cases,
Those
especially like in the cases of donations.
Some cases.
Once for donations like these religious events and whatever. Yes, that used to happen. But like I said, the purpose of sitting down together at times is because of the fact that yes, we are in control of the vote. So if she comes to us in the form of a meeting and talk about it, that there is a need for this to be done. Yes, we in some of those cases I mentioned we completed.
Yes.
But still, that's not answering the question that like we used to go beyond that point. What we could do is you see the request coming maybe from the community. The request will come from the community, be addressed to her. Okay, you look at it because if you look at the social support
Yes.
in the budgets, it's not just lumped into one. There are quite a few areas. So yes, we do used to look at those things.
In like donations.
Yeah, like for donations, yes. But I would say that's strictly limited just to donations.
For instance, we have a $20,000 being a cash impressed for the payment of a PA system for the mayor upcoming town hall meeting. Again, check raised in the name of Fatu Benga,
Yes.
paid for the benefit of the Lord Mayor. We have disbursement of media coverage for the fourth town hall meeting on Saturday, 19 March 2022. $30,000 is paid and money given to the Lord Mayor. That's because if Fatumenga writes on behalf of the Lord Mayor, if anyone writes on your behalf, the person is acting for you.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we have here media consultancy live streaming event, $30,000. And who decides this amount? Is it you as CEO, or do you just approve and the mayor and her team decides?
I approve and her team they decide.
They decide how much, who to pay and who not to pay.
Yes, because
They do the procurement.
Yes, very clear. That's what I wanted to add to when
Go ahead.
just before you came in. I said the consultation on things like payments were strictly limited to things like donations.
Okay.
But now I hear you mentioning about the town hall. That does not qualify at all.
Oh.
Most of the decisions of the town hall were by herself and her team.
And you would have been directed to just make payments to her.
Once again.
Okay. Again, we have a similar one. An impress to print 1,000 t-shirts for mayor's town hall meeting. The amount altogether is $200,000. The request was raised by Fatum Bega. Request for payment of visibility service. Again, the same language. On behalf of the Lord Mayor of Banjul, I to request for the payment of 1,000 t-shirts. The cost of which, of course, is paraphrasing is $200,000. Again, this is not donation; it's for procurement.
Yes.
You did not advise this. You did not advise this.
No.
Who did the procurement? She and her team?
No. Yes. I think I am not the procurement guy at council.
You are?
I am not the procurement guy.
Yes.
What I was expecting, if that could have been possible, and today could have maybe helped us a lot, was that if the request redirected.
You said today you have helped who a lot.
Today it could have helped us a lot because then nobody will be questioning us over these things. Because if at all the requests, for example, the hosting of town hall meetings, or if it involved certain areas that were wholly and solely under the purview of the procurement.
Right.
Okay, in theory, the request could have stopped, should have been at my office.
Yes.
That we need this amount of t-shirts
Right.
for this event.
Right.
Then I would simply just minute it to the procurement people,
Exactly.
and they do the procurements, bring it back.
That's the usual way.
Thank you.
So why? Let me tell you why. You will just exhaust this and come back to the why. Again, cash impress given for a logistics team for town hall meeting, $25,000 is the request, the usual way, check with him to Fatumbega for the Lord Mayor. We have a $12,000 package to Mr. Lamin Fati, freelance journalist. The usual way, the abnormal procedure applies. Payment made to Fatumbega and for the Lord Mayor's allocation for the catering of dinner to entertain councils visiting mayor of Ostend, Belgium. $69,000 is payments made to Fatumbega. The request is here. It talks about 3 sheep, 5 canned drinks, 20 packets of water, the chef, the musicians for entertainment, and who made this decision? Were you involved? Were you the one who made call the shots, decide how much is spent, what is bought for the entertaining the guests from Ostend, or is it the mayors and her team?
All what I had in such cases was attending to the requests that were made and facilitated the estimated payments that were supposed to be effected.
Yeah.
That's where I stopped.
And so the mayor takes over from there.
Sure.
Again, the list goes on. $40,000 is disbursement as cash impressed for the Banjul annual chronic citation. But back to this. Why was it difficult to say no to the mayors that this is not the usual way of payment?
That was the biggest oversight ever.
That is it?
That was the biggest oversight ever.
I didn't get that part.
I said that was the biggest oversight on my side ever.
I don't know why I didn't get. Oh, biggest oversight.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
on
okay.
that issue.
Okay. Why you call it an oversight?
Yeah, in the sense that, like you have just rightly said, especially based on the previous example we were touching on just before you came to this one,
Right.
like in the area of procurements for the town hall meetings,
Right.
for example. Clearly, that's what it should have been the request.
Yes. So, but why did you classify it as an oversight?
I would say an oversight
Will presuppose something different.
because like it was not done.
Yes, but oversight may mean that you did not know or you knew, of course, but at the time of making the decision, it has escaped your mind that this is really wrong. What oversight may mean in this situation. I know this is not the usual way. Ordinarily, I am the person to know. For whatever reason, it just escaped my mind that this is not the right way to do things. This is multiple approvals.
Yes, yes.
So it would not be an oversight. Maybe there's a better word for it,
Yeah,
but not an oversight.
better word.
You understand what I mean?
Better word.
You understand what I mean? So it's like you did it once, and your defense is oversight. You may have a pass.
Yeah.
You knew. Ordinarily, you will know by virtue of your longevity, by virtue of your experience as a CEO. Of course, you know this on the usual payment, but oversight. Second time, maybe the gap happened over 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, 2 years. He may qualify still. Third time, someone else may be very generous to even still give you a pass. Fourth time, someone may still be generous to give you a pass. Fifth time, Mr. Batchily. The sixth time, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The list goes on and on and on. It becomes unending. Then that would suggest only one. If anybody thinks that, believes genuinely that Mr. Budget did not benefit from this, because there's nowhere it shows that you have benefited. If anyone is to believe Mr. Budget did not benefit from this, it can only mean one thing. That you or two things. You are forced to do it, or you felt you had no power to stop it. Do you understand what I meant?
Very.
So which one is it?
Can I, I'll come to that. I'll come on.
No, I'll come to that now. Then you can come back to what you were to say.
Okay, I will go by the last statement that you said.
Which is?
I was expected to go by it.
You are?
I was expected to go by it.
By
the process.
The boss.
The process.
The process.
Yes.
I don't understand what you mean.
No, for example, like what I'm just trying to say is the manner in which they wanted to do some of these, for example, procurements,
right,
with regards to events and all this stuff.
Right.
Right. So that's why I'm coming in. But then,
so you still haven't answered the question clearly.
Yeah.
I asked a very specific question.
Okay, can you come again, so
we had already said by virtue of the number.
Yes.
It cannot qualify as an oversight. And you agreed with me.
Yes.
The number is just too much.
Yeah.
It becomes a repeated act. It is a practice.
Yes.
So it's no longer an oversight. That's my point. The second point is, since it's no longer an oversight, which means the person approving was aware of the fact that the process is wrong. Okay, if the person is benefiting, it becomes a crime. If you're not benefiting, some other issues may unfold. It's either you are obeying instructions, genuinely believing that you cannot say no, or you are forced to do it. Which one? Is it that you were just obeying instructions, even though it was wrong, but you just followed instructions of the mayors?
That's one thing that I can certainly not say that, for example, I was forced. If I really say that, then I will not be honest.
So what is it then?
You know, I was not forced.
Okay, so you were just following instructions.
I would say I was following instructions.
Knowing fully well it is wrong. What would make you to follow instructions that are unlawful?
Okay, can I react to that in the sense that, for example, a lot of these cases,
right,
we got to know, I would say mostly when the draft audit report came in. Because I was assuming that, for example, some of these procurement matters, especially if they're bringing in for final payments to be made, like you could see that to some extent, they meet up the requirements. They have all these different invoices that were
there are no, in fact, the only procurement process that is met in any of these is just requisition. Not even in the usual procurement process way, but at least there is a request, which you interpret to be more like a directive anyways.
Yes.
Because it is the mayor speaking, I request XYZ amount. Procurement process has not been triggered here. You know the usual procurement process.
Yeah.
You have been doing it for so many years. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist here, does it?
In the instances that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
For all the monies given to Father Mega, no procurement process was followed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we leave the procurement issue aside. Whatever the audit report would have found out is that procurement process was not followed. And it is the CEO's responsibility, the mayor's responsibility, and council's responsibility. Because it's easy to sideline the procurement in some instances because they don't approve finances. The chief custodian of the finance is the chief executive officer and the mayor and council. So when you knew that procurement was disregarded, why did you go ahead?
Okay, like I was just earlier on explaining to you that, for example, if the requests are made, eventually, before the final payments are made, the documentation is brought again back to my office. I'm just trying to show that in some instances, I will see that maybe, invoices are gathered, for example, invoices are gathered to back up
No, you are
the transactions.
making, let me help you. Let me help you. Just to make it very easy for you, Mr. Bachin. For instance, the voucher number 220000961 says cash impress allocation for underline the word impress, we'll come back to it, for the cost of accommodation, food and refreshment of council's guests from Senegal.
Mm.
Do you agree that this calls for procurement of accommodation, food and refreshment?
Yes.
And what is the usual way? What is the usual way?
Like the procurement people would
Yes.
maybe look up for at least one, two, three different accommodation centers.
Perfect. And then
And
payments, if they are to be done in relation to procurement, how are they supposed to be made? Is it not made directly to the payee, the people that are supplying these services or goods?
yes.
Good. It was paid to Fatu Mega. No, it's not supposed to be the payee. You agree?
Yes.
So procurement is not even in question.
Mm.
So when you signed the check, you were in the position to know that Fatu Mega is not supposed to receive this money for the mayor, correct?
Yes.
That's my point. As at the time you are signing it, the money is being signed. The check is signed in the name of Fatu Mega for the mayor. Mr. Batchily or the finance director, they knew that this money should not be signed in the name of Fatu Mega for the mayor. But Mr. Batchily went ahead and still signed it. Now I want you to, it's just me giving you a chance. I want you to explain to the commissioners in the best possible way why Mr. Batchily knew the law, knew the process, disregarded the process. I don't want to believe Mr. Batchily benefited from it, but my belief again is irrelevant. So why was that the case? Do you have an explanation for that?
The explanation is that it shouldn't have done.
I agree. That's why I brought it up. The things you have done, right, Mr. Batchily, I did not bring them up.
Yeah.
There are things you have done right. So many. Everybody have done something right in their workplaces. So many. That's why when you say people focus on what the things they have done right, I don't focus on that. That's not why we're here. What is the problem that will cause you, an experienced CEO, to make payments that are unlawful, but yet still you went ahead with it? Even when you don't even know how it is spent. What can you say?
That's like I say, it shouldn't have been done.
Is it loyalty to the mayors?
It, no, I wouldn't say so.
No, I think it was you who said that the mayor is the best mayor you have ever served. Whether it's you or Mr. Jonga, is that you? Did you say that statement?
No, I never.
You are entitled to that statement. Don't get me wrong.
I never said that.
Okay, but is it loyalty? Is it influence?
I will not call
Is it following directives?
Okay, to be manly enough, I'll say following directives. That might have not been very right.
That were 100% wrong.
Well, yeah.
Don't choose your words in that manner. Like you said, to the man of if we are wrong, we are wrong. Don't choose your words in that manner. But it's just absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. Do you know whether the mayors had financial benefit from this?
To be honest,
Where you're supposed to be very much careful in making sure that you don't authorize payments that would be wasted by either corruption or malpractice or any kind.
it's highly possible.
As CEO, that would have been your responsibility. And that would have been your responsibility to make sure payments you authorize are authorized in the usual manner so that you minimize fraud,
Yeah,
right? And the people of Banjul that you serve as well, they should have equal opportunity to compete for these things.
police.
We deny them that when we do it wrong,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Good. Does the mayors know that there was a procurement unit?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Does the mayors know at the time that there was a contracts committee?
Yes.
So the mayors knew that then the payments that were made to her was wrong. The same way you knew. She knew that this is not the usual way for procurement.
Yes, because there was an existing procurement unit.
Yes.
Maybe not a very like advanced unit in terms of its.
There is still a procurement unit.
Yes.
There is still a contracts committee. And
Yes.
she knew about this.
Sure.
You have been very honest because she said that she was the one who formed the procurement unit when she came in 2018. I have no reason to deny it, to disagree with that. But is that correct?
I would rather say that when they came as a council, I did go to her office and told her about the need to strengthen this procurement unit.
The budget is strengthening and initiating are two words apart.
No, no, let me make it very clear because there was already a procurement office. So
Already.
she did not initiate it.
So her claim that she initiated the procurement unit is wrong.
No, certainly that's not.
It's wrong.
That's not correct.
Okay. It's important
That's not correct.
because there are things that you are the only independent person that can shed light on because you have been in the past and in the present.
Yeah.
Of course, we hope that every administration that comes after another would be better. It's just development.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that not the case?
Sure.
That's development. But when that assertion was made, we cannot say it's not true. But I will ask the person that was there before and that is there now, as at the time she was. Okay, we are past that. You have already provided the answer that we needed. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, how did you feel knowing fully well the mayoress was aware of the procurement unit, was aware of the contracts committee, but yet still demanded monies to be paid to her for her to execute the manner of payment and through proxies, through either Fatou Benga or ML Bah. How did you feel first? Was that not happening what you were used to?
Yes, certainly that's not what I was used
Exactly.
to in the past.
In the past, you served on administrations.
Yes.
Is that not the case?
Yes.
And so you know what you're being exposed to is totally is the word unorthodox and very unusual. How did you feel?
Sometimes I used to feel trouble.
Come again?
I used to feel trouble.
Go ahead.
If I am really honest to my conscience, I used to feel trouble because by the end of the day, it boiled down to thinking of whether some of these disbursements that were being made were they done in the right way. And in the event they're not done in the right way, it's like there could be repercussions in the future.
Of course. What do you mean done the right way is where the money is spent? Okay, fine. Now we know the disbursement didn't follow the normal way. But you are worried because of the idea that whether the money was spent for the purpose it was requested. That's what made you worried.
Yes.
And have you ever had an answer?
I give you, can I give you a typical example?
Yes.
It's like when you talked about the 400,000
Yes.
that was spent for the fire victims.
Yes.
Is it Hagan Street or William Street?
Yes.
Okay, for example, when the documentations came eventually
Yes.
to council, it's like I was thinking that maybe all the beneficiaries, for example, should have consented to monies having been received by the council
Yes.
as form of donation
Right.
for the fire, whatever. But I got to learn that eventually that was not the case. And that made it made me feel a bit troubled because by the end of the day, it would have been very difficult to convince even the auditors that this particular amount of money was distributed to people.
Exactly.
And just saying that they were, of course, distributed to people is one thing. But then showing people who are from an institutional setup that this was actually the case could have been made more easy. For example, if it was having attachments of maybe some vouchers. Mr. So and so received this amount, sign for it. Mrs. So and so sign for this. Things of that nature flowing.
Exactly. And before money like that can be mismanaged, for instance, before it is mismanaged, council have other priorities as per the act. So you would rather see that amount being spent in a rather useful venture than to be spent in a manner in which it cannot be accounted for, correct?
Yeah, but that is after it was discovered that the accountability aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
I'm
not.
saying
It's not.
you would rather,
Yeah.
you are disturbed because you would rather see that amount being spent in a more productive manner for the benefit of the inhabitants of Banjul
Mm.
than to be spent in a way that even you as CEO, you're beginning to wonder whether it is spent the right way.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah. Okay.
For instance, schools. In this country, most people, you and I will agree, that do not know the responsibility of council in relation to education. You know that. I will admit, I myself don't know a lot about councils. We don't even pay attention to council, Mr. Batchily. It was a wall of its own. You know that.
Yeah.
Right? But education, for the jurisdiction that each council oversees or administers, they have a primary role in relation to schools. Most people don't know. You agree with me, correct? It's in the act.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the act. People can just get it and fine. We don't read, almost don't read in this country. I never read this. Hospitals, health, health centers. Because people pay tax. The same way we pay tax to GRN, same way we pay tax to the area council. Correct?
Yes.
The rates, license, you name it. You even tax, even hawkers, even someone who wants to do a business for a day needs to pay tax, compound rates, you just name it. Now, that is why to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
Is that not the case?
Yeah.
I give you, I pay my tax to you, and I expect you to do something for me in return. Even God, when you pray, you expect Him to do something for you in return.
Answer to your prayers.
Yeah, you expect blessings.
Yeah, but can I make an intervention at that juncture?
Go ahead.
If you don't mind. Okay, if you look at the act,
Right,
they have mentioned education, I think
right,
education, health,
right.
but I think
Agriculture.
agriculture, that was something that should have been within the framework of decentralization.
Yes.
That eventually at the time that this act was being consolidated on,
Yes.
I think the whole purpose was to have these areas within the context of decentralization.
No. Decentralization is different. Decentralization
Yes.
is devolution of power is different.
No.
What are you talking about? Do you mean to say you have no obligation in relation to education?
Just hear me out, sir.
I have to understand you. I want to
For
understand.
example, the reason is that if you look at the present structures,
Yes.
education is responsible for all the most of the schools that are in the country,
Absolutely.
despite in whatever.
Well, absolutely. The minister of education should be responsible, even if you have um, decentralization.
Okay. Now these areas.
Because you know why? You are only going to be responsible for your area. You are not expert in education. You're not expert in curriculum, formulation of subjects and so on and so forth. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, but then that's why I was trying to build up a case.
Yes.
In the sense that we're looking at this act
Yes.
within the process of decentralization.
Yes.
So that if, for example, schools are decentralized
Yes.
for example, in each municipality,
Yes.
the council would take up the running of schools
Yes.
and also things like hospitals,
Right.
health centers, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but then in the case of the educational sponsorships that we are talking about,
Right.
I went to the mayor's office,
Right.
yeah, and I made it known to her that I think it would be of more transparency if the council can form a committee. I did it once, I did it twice, I did it three times.
A committee of
A committee, educational committee.
yes, like it's in the act.
Yes, who would be responsible
Yes.
for all the requests
Yes.
for educational sponsorships.
Right.
Like let them deal with the requests as a more professional body
Right.
because they would have had more knowledge about educational matters
Yes.
than the council itself.
Yes.
Yeah, but I realized that she was still preferring to go with the other way in which people from the community would
She
like
was what?
people from the community would like for assistance straight to her office.
Done schools.
You understand?
If they would write straight to her office.
Yes.
So
For
what she
example,
prefers.
yes. Well, I'm not saying that, but that's what continued, despite the number of advices that I gave her with regards to that.
So you proposed a committee,
Yes, and
independent, transparent committee to better advise, even council, in
yes,
relation to education,
yes,
whether it is for sponsorship
yes,
or for rehabilitation of educational structures,
yes,
or so on and so forth, wherever you can come in
yeah.
and help, right? And she says, no, I prefer,
The director of planning is a witness to this,
yes,
and also the advisor to council.
okay. And she prefers to have all these requests to pass through her office.
Yes.
So why do you think she prefers that?
I
Mr. Batchily, there's problem in this country.
not about the eligibility. I'm not touching on that at all.
Talking about
The eligibility of that system. That's not why I'm touching on. But the thing is,
my question.
if I want to answer a question, I will give you an answer which is from a because like I'm not a politician.
Even no. Look,
So I was
when there is a problem and we shy away from the problem, addressing the problem, we don't have a solution. You see, this country is ours, all of us. I've always been saying nobody is more Gambian than Patrick Gomez, and I am not any more Gambian than any other Gambian. But some people believe they are more Gambian than others. You know, George Orwell, Animal Farm. All animals are equal. Some are more equal than the others. Now is the time we talk about the problem, Mr. Batchily. The politicians always be politicians. Understand that? You have council's interest and you have the mayor's interest. And so to have the request being sent to her office will only make any leader to look good. That's the fact. Do you not agree with that?
Yes.
It's the fact. That is the honest truth.
But that's not where I came from.
That's not.
That's not where I came from.
That's why you came.
Where I came from.
I don't understand.
Okay, it's like you were saying, you're explaining that it's obvious that everybody wants everything to look good on them by virtue of being politician. Is that what you mean? Let me have a good understanding of your
The
question.
mayors insisting on having the payments and requests to be made to her,
Directly to her office.
as opposed to having a committee,
Yes.
would only serve a self-interest. Strange.
I do not deny that.
Yes.
What I'm just saying is like you're asking me about my own personal perception about it.
Of course,
You know,
you are an expert in this. You are the CEO, and therefore, for some, you are in a position to speak about what your experience are and what your opinion is. You are in the position to do that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to come in because, like I say, some of the ways and means we used to do things.
Yes.
I had at some point uh, telling you here that all the ways and means in which councils used to work was equal, was the
Yes.
same.
Yes.
That's not true. That's definitely not true.
That's
Because
true.
no,
Okay.
no, because I could remember very well different opinions that I had made use of or was part of. Like, for example, when I came to school, when I came to the council, they were having a school called Gabajamba.
Yes.
Gabajamba School.
Correct.
Yeah, it was created by one of your commissioners, Commissioner Farr.
Right.
Okay, I remember all the sponsorships for education. For example, the priority used to be first towards taking them to the school
Correct.
rather than paying for them in other schools.
Right.
I'm not saying it never used to happen,
I understand.
but the main focus.
Right.
So I have seen different scenarios.
You had a structure.
Thank you.
You were used to a structure.
Thank you.
And so what you were exposed to in 2018 was not a structure.
No, that wasn't the structure.
Exactly. That's why I said you were
Yeah.
passing to say. I
No.
was not there.
I just wanted to take you to my own memory lane so that
You can go on with that.
you can appreciate what I was saying.
Absolutely, you can go on with that.
I heard about it, all the council. And then the other one, there was another one which really made me very, very surprised. But then, like as you said, you hear everything. Like the previous council that they took from, I heard her saying that there was even no one vehicle
Yes.
that was in operation.
Yes.
I think my conscience would not lie if I keep quiet about that. Because what happened was most of these compactors,
Yes.
it was eventually later we got to discover that making them operational in this part of the world is
Right.
not very easy. Because
Right.
simply because they did not like moisturized materials being loaded onto them.
Right.
It eventually makes the hydraulic system weak.
Right.
So it is not that that particular council before they came, they were not doing nothing. They just
Yes.
have one vehicle. I would not want to be part of that because that was not the true picture.
But again, you see,
That was not the true picture.
that's why I said that for any mayor to come and say that this is what I inherited, it will be difficult to say, no, 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 that's not true. We have you, luckily, who was there and who served with the mayors. So you are the right person to give context, to give evidence, to give real-time facts in relation to what obtained.
And I'll be happy to do that.
And so we thank you for that. We thank you for that. You understand? So we will come back to that at some point. So back to the what I was talking about, for instance, education, um, agriculture, health. You read the text, it tells you that um, the local government act 2, education services. The council shall, within its area of jurisdiction, ensure the schools are established and operated in accordance with the Education Act for the time being enforced. Ensure that the establishment and management of council schools are properly monitored. Monitor the establishment and operations of all categories of schools. Encourage the establishment of income generating and skills enhancing projects or programs in all schools and carry out such other functions as a responsible secretary of state shall by regulations prescribe. So there's always room to fill. There's always a gap to fill. There's always an avenue to come in and just support, right?
Yeah.
Even if it is infrastructure.
Yeah.
Even if it is infrastructure. You understand? Because again, so much is taken from the people. So much is taken from the people. And so we can always do better, Mr. Bachele. You and I will agree that we can always do better. The same goes to agriculture. The same goes to health care. Um, I am a prosecutor, and I've had medical doctors giving evidence, and sometimes it's difficult to maintain them in court for a long time because they tell you that in some places in our public um, um, health system, there are serious problems. Sometimes the women will deliver on the floor. I'm telling you facts, something I know. Like I said, I live here. The area council, they have a role to play. You understand? You and I will agree on that. We have a role to play.
Massive.
Construct a maternity ward. Buy beds. Give back to the people. You know what I mean? Nobody needs to wait for anybody when you're taking a policy from the people. It's hardly done. Mr. Bacheli knows that improvement can be made in this area from blessing to BCC. But you know, we shy from our responsibility. Yes.
Mr. Batchely, um, you've been taken through by the lead counsel on some of the responsibilities of counsel as outlined in the Act. And why is it that, for instance, I take an example on the payment of scholarships. You have paid, this is just a snippet, 793,290, which lacked documentation, which breached audit protocols, and which did not comply with accounting rules. Why should this happen? Because this is contained in the audit reports. Why should this happen?
Can I ask you to be more explicit
I'm
about
saying,
the
I'm saying,
particular?
I'm giving you an example of the payment of scholarships, for instance, the support you give to scholarships.
Yeah.
Why is it that there is lack of documentation? One, you do not follow audit rules, and you do not follow accounting principles, and you have disbursed $793,290. This is just a snippet from the audit report of, let me give you the year, that is for the year 2021 and 2022.
Can I ask which institution was that?
What?
Can I kindly ask which institution was supposed to have been benefited from that payment?
This is a cumulative, just a sheet of a cumulative, what you have paid in in the form of support
Yeah.
to supposedly needy students for their scholarships. But you did not, there is no documentation to prove that. There's no audit to, you flouted the audit rules. There is nothing to show that this is what you have done. And you understand, the accounting principles were also flouted. And you cannot account for these monies.
I'm still coming to terms with the question. We're talking about payments that were made to schools, but they don't have supporting documents. Normally, all the payments, yes, I know that some payments have been made to individuals
It's consistent.
to go on whatever.
The internal audit reports will show that scholarships were paid, but there are no documentation. There are no supporting documents to show who is the recipient.
Yeah, but
Proof that yes, indeed, when you said you paid, for instance, 50,000 for Mr. Y,
yeah,
indeed, that 50,000 was paid. No evidence is provided for that kind of situation. And I'm just giving you an example of a total amount
yeah.
that is calculated on a brief period of, let's say, some few months in 2021 and 2022, which gives you this amount of money.
Okay, may I talk of instances where it's part of,
I am asking you why. Why is it that you did not have evidence?
yeah, because normally that's what I'm reacting to. Normally, all the requests for payments we have with regards to school issues, we have the request for the payments that are to be done, and we also used to have as attached supporting documents. We also eventually used to have receipts of like these monies that were actually spent. But maybe if you tell me in some if there were no supporting documents, that would pose me a big problem now
Yes, but
to understand.
and the finance director signed these checks and disbursed this money.
It's not though.
Sorry?
It's not. But
Why do you have to sign the checks, disburse these monies without evidence?
without evidence of the need of what we are paying for, no, I don't know if I could request to have some of these things shown to me.
Yeah, audit report for 2021 and 2022. And prior to that, there are a series of amounts of monies that are paid
Yeah,
in the name of scholarships
yeah.
that have no supporting documents, no evidence of the recipients having received the payment for such uh, fees, etc.
If you see the reason why I'm making these interventions, it's because there have been many schools that check payments were made in the name of the schools themselves.
Yes, I'm
So
listening.
yeah, you also have those kind of scenarios too.
So why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are some cases where the name of the school on the check itself that was released for payment towards the educational support.
The audit is saying something different, Mr. Batil.
Yes.
The audit is saying something different.
Okay, now it's like, okay, we restricted to the area you are talking about right now.
Yes.
Yes. So there is like, I'm still, because some of these things should contain all those documentation
So
because it was based on,
I'm asking you because you are the one that writes the check together with the finance director,
yeah,
and you should be in a position to at least have the supporting documents before you write the check. Is that not the case? Is that not the procedure?
exactly.
So the audits are saying these documents are not seen, and then monies have been expended. And they give you a sum total, which is just a snippet of what you have been expecting in the name of scholarship.
Yes,
You agree?
I agree with what you are saying.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Actually, I have some vouchers I want to show you. payments made to Asetunjai. You know Asetunjai,
There are two SFNI I used to work with at the council.
the mayor's PA.
Okay.
The first voucher is voucher number 0000195. Sorry, 22000925. 220096. 0967. Yes, these are payments made to Asetunjai. We have 22000926. Version number 146. Yes, please go through these vouchers. Oh, yes. Do you recognize those vouchers? Are those PCC vouchers that you authorized?
Yes.
All right. I also have may I please see the vouchers. You don't.
Just yeah.
You can take your time, so much that go through it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this.
We apply tender the voucher um, bearing the voucher numbers that we have already read for the commission to be arbitrated evidence and marked as exhibits. These are payments made to asset Jai.
The first voucher is dated the 17th of October 2022, and the pay's name is Esa Tunjai, Mayor's PA. And the voucher number is BCC PV 22000926. The second voucher is dated the 28th of February 2019, and the voucher number is 146, and the pay's name is Aisatunjai, Mayor's personal assistant. The third voucher is dated the 12th of November 2020, and the PV number is 0967. The pay's name is Aisatunjai, Lady Council. That's the third voucher. The fourth voucher is dated the 8th of June 2022, and the pay's name is Aisatunjai, and the voucher number is BCC PV 22000096. The fifth and the final voucher is dated the 17th of October 2022, and the pay's name is Aisatunjai, Mayor's PA, and the voucher number is BCC PV 2200000925. These five payment vouchers are admitted together in a bundle as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MD/004.
Ask the commission. I also have some vouchers here. These are various payments made and classified as council's support. The first is number 0735. The second, PV 22001132. The third, 0791. Fourth, 0836. And the fifth, 22000253. Seventh, 0821. Eight is version number 21000605. 9 is number 0608. The 10th voucher 22000664. 11 is 22000042. The 12th voucher is 0221. The 13th voucher is 1190. The 14th voucher is 22001380. And then we have 22000777. We also have voucher number 220076. And the last one we have is 22000772. Please look at this set of vouchers and tell us whether they are bundles in the council vouchers, whether you've recognized them. Because at the time you were there as chief executive officer.
Lead counsel. This one.
So actually you confirm that these are vouchers of PCC.
Yeah, yeah.
We apply to tender the vouchers as we have read the voucher numbers for the commission to be admitted and marked as exhibits.
The payment vouchers I've already identified by the witness are hereby admitted as follows. The PV dated the 4th of October 2022. The pay's name is Moduseka. The PV dated the 4th of October 2022. The pay's name is Senabu Jilen. The PV dated the 4th of October 2022. The pay's name is Babasar, care of WAM Taekwondo. The PV dated the 16th of December 2022. The pay's name is Betty Mendy. a PV dated the 10th of December 2019. The pay's name is Bernard Tobacco Road. A PV dated the 9th of February 2022. The pay's name is Babukar Sar. Desert B Football Club. A payment voucher dated the 24th of May 2022. The pay's name is Banjul Padun. The PV dated the 27th of September 2022. The pay's name is Bena Banjul South. A PV dated the 27th of April 2021. The pay's name is Dauda Drama, Senior Supervisor C/S. A PV dated the 3rd of November 2021. The pay's name is New Homes Agency. A PV dated the 29th of April 2022. The pay is Sarab Medical Center. A PV dated the 7th of July 2022. The pay's name is Buri Ndao. A PV dated the 28th of April 2022. The pay's name is Choronjai. A PV dated the 26th of April 2022. The pay's name is Jojo Keta, care of Amy Johnson, Lancaster Street. A PV dated the 31st of October 2022. The pay's name is Fatumata Sidibe. And the final voucher is dated the 28th of April 2022. And the pay's name is Hadikoka James Senegal Street. And for the details of all of these payments for council support, that's the description on the details of payment for all these vouchers that have been listed. These vouchers are admitted in a bundle together as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MB/005.
As the commission places, we also have payments made to Pinta Conte, the secretary to the mayor. You know Pinta?
Yeah.
Zero zero 1120 and 000 7 kind of objects that is
Please in the second. Cost of the pays here is in the contract. The payment power is the account management. The pays here is in the contract. The panel was related to the account management. And the pays here is in the contract. This all involves getting evidence as exhibit in the amount as LBC's last business that there is a six.
as the they would have assessed largest paid to the unit. Who is it? Those we have a hundred schedule come and be into it. So you also have that schedule into it. Yeah. This is then that's all after cognitive intelligence. But it's serious for that. Now, we have the downloads 1 by 6 for this CDP. Anyway, I'm sure you know the other individuals. 1 by 6 area. The code of branch, I think that is 1 by 6. That's all. You have one, there is one on the support. Yeah, yeah. Going to down is Yeah, in 2007, they never got to discuss around in our classes, the presumption, I mean, we should do as a part of the
is implemented on behalf of the large one humanity. The vice is that this is this period are living just found it's not indicated the 6th of July 2023. The please take this from immediately. And so the purpose of the payment is in respect of disbursement as 1 by 6 of this legitimate. The payment voucher dated the 1st of December 2019. The case name is Manipulated Name, and the details of payment is the disbursement is asking for the facilitation of logistics in attending various programs on behalf of the local areas in relation to 2020 media celebration. The payment originated from the 1st of October 2020. The case name is Manipulated and the purpose for the payment is uh, payment in respect of honoring for coordinating the delegation from Australia. The payment was made in December 2022. The case name is Manipulated and the payment is in respect of council's contributions towards the visit of the Khalifa of Far Datu Tidania. The payment project is the property availability of the police is Manipulated and the payment is in respect of the payment is no granted to the Economic Policy Union as from the one salary customized. The final paper is dated and the case is immediately and the payment in respect of the disbursement for the process of 12 artificial chickens more far we have made. These given vouchers are included in the body of the evidence in the analysis. Evidence is not in this delivery. And you can ask me a question. Yes, this is a convenient. Is there any more need for me more? The importance of the needs is you mentioned in your statement. Have you gone to it? Well, yes, the kind of was a part of this is also. You understand, so that you can bigger because this is where I don't know your name. Yes, provide us with the Thank you. Give me that. So see you tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you.